The 46th regular meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government, which took place recently in Georgetown, brought together leaders from throughout the region to fast-track and consider the community's priorities collectively in what was a packed agenda. Over 3 days, Caribbean and other leaders from across the globe engaged in bilateral, trilateral, and collaborative discussions that will further advance the region's integration and developmental agenda. Leaders came ready to advance partnerships that will enable concrete decision-making on CARICOM's single market, agriculture and food security, climate finance, regional security, transportation, and hemispheric challenges, among other initiatives. According to the Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and I quote, "Much progress have been made on a number of issues." His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, in his opening address, set out expectations envisioned as part of his government's overarching agenda for a better Guyana and CARICOM.
I believe that every time we act collectively as a region, we were able to bring positive change in this world. And for this reason alone, CARICOM is a critical organization, and we should all be proud of CARICOM, because there are many examples in the history of this world when CARICOM acted together, when CARICOM moved together, we saw positive changes and positive movements in our global environment. We are of the view that we must now focus on ending hunger and malnutrition by 2030. We are proposing to bring together the human assets that this region nurtured into international fame, to bring their goodwill together as ambassadors, to mobilize international financing and support so that we can end hunger and malnutrition in this region by 2030. We have the capability.
This region needs to be able to grow and produce its own food.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems that we faced after COVID was the situation of food insecurity. We recognized all of a sudden, and it should not have been all of a sudden, but it was, that our foods are all imported into the region. And with the breakdown of the supply chain globally, we face this situation of not having sufficient food supply to feed our populations. But when you look at the region is one that has all of the elements to be able to produce its own food. And therefore, when the Excellency, the President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, embarked upon this issue of 25% of our food import bill being cut by 2025, and the Caribbean growing and producing its own food, that became immediately attracted to the rest of the CARICOM community.
One of the key priorities for us is looking at what we can do on addressing climate change, helping to work with the agenda that's being pushed forward in the Caribbean around providing climate finance. They're really important priorities, but also in boosting trade, and particularly as we think about Guyana and also issues around Haiti, security. So there are several dimensions in this relationship we want to work closely together on. We're great friends, and through coming to CARICOM and other events like this and my previous visits, that friendship and those strong bonds that are being created are getting even stronger. I think it points to an important future where we can work even more closely together.
On development, we're doing a lot together. I'm the Minister for International Development. We're doing a lot on poverty reduction together. We're doing a lot on women empowerment. We're doing a lot on youth. We're doing a lot on indigenous people. All of those things are things that Canada has in common with Guyana. We have a very large indigenous population right across our big country. We have a lot of young people. And we are always looking to work with like-minded countries on including more women in our economy and society, and genuine economic and social empowerment of women. And so we find in Guyana a really amazing, ambitious, energetic, like-minded country. And in my short visit here, I have seen that Guyana and Canada, have very common values. We've already done a lot of things together, but I will leave Guyana thinking that we can do even more together.
Yeah. It is very important to have that connectivity. It is very important to have the arrangement in place for the connectivity, to remove all these barriers which are still existing. We have to remove those barriers so that there can be a free movement of goods, and that upon arrival, all the things on administration, on custom paper, that those things need to be settled in advance. And that's the direction, and that was the call of all the heads in the past, and that was the call of President Ali as chairperson of this Conference of Heads, and we're fully supporting that.
As the conference wrapped up, leaders of the Caribbean community had the chance to meet with the President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, His Excellency Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, at President Ali's invitation. Coming out of this conference, heads have issued statements on several issues, including financing for development and climate adaptation, public safety and crime, and the situation in Haiti.
We need to establish, or we've agreed, that we need to establish a working group on finance for Caribbean development, and this will be chaired by Vice President Bartacchio, and will work with me as lead Prime Minister for the CARICOM Single Market and Single Economy. And over the course of the next 4 months, come up with the reports and the recommendations necessary to unlock more funding to capitalize the CARICOM Development Fund. It is our view that the region is full of liquidity, but what is missing is the appropriate mechanism to unlock that liquidity and to allow those countries that need access to concessional funding, as is available under the CARICOM Development Fund, to be able to access them so that we can build up the systems to promote growth rather than treating to it just purely for the adaptation and resilience aspect of it. Secondly, we've agreed that the Blue-Green Investment Bank, which the government of Barbados has put in train through its work in the last year with the Green Climate Fund, the Latin American Development Bank Fund, our own capitalization from our resilience and sustainability proceeds, and we now have commitments from both the government of Guyana and the government of Bahamas, as well as the USAID, that we will work to capitalize that fund. We have commitments of 15 million US from the GCF. We have the same amount from Barbados, the same from Guyana, I believe the same from Bahamas. And that then puts us at, and from Latin American Development Bank, and that puts us at 75 million US in seed capital, with 2.5 million US from USAID. It is our hope that we can reach at least $100 million US in seed capital. Barbados has the draft bill for the institution, and we hope to operationalize this institution as a matter of urgency to service the needs of the Caribbean community with respect to resilience and adaptation.
I would just highlight one of the issues that countries have already started acting on, and we expect that between now and July, all of the CARICOM members will ramp up the action to make sure that this becomes a reality. And that is the Caribbean arrest warrant. As it stands now, someone is wanted in Trinidad and Tobago and find themselves in Grenada or Barbados. It is extremely difficult for law enforcement to apprehend and return them on the simple basis that they would not have been wanted in Grenada or Barbados for any crime. And so we need to make sure that criminals understand that we would not tolerate them moving from island to island within the community to escape consequences of the actions.
The next issue I wish for us to address is that of Haiti. As you know, this issue took a lot of agenda time, but it is time well worth spending because of how important Haiti is for the region and how critical it is for us to find a solution for the holistic advancement of the people of Haiti. Not just security, but a lot of focus in these meetings were on the political and governance issue. So finding a parallel mechanism through which the political and governance issue, as was even outlined by President Lula earlier, are also addressed simultaneously with the security and humanitarian issue. So I'd ask Prime Minister of Bahamas to update the media on the issue of Haiti.
Haiti situation is truly a terrible situation. Haiti is hemorrhaging. What has happened in the if you look at the amount of deaths in the month of January, it has been noted that there were more deaths in Haiti than occurred in the war of Ukraine and Russia. So that tells us of the depth of the suffering that is occurring amongst the people in Haiti. And so, inordinate, I wouldn't say inordinate, but much of our sessions was spent on dealing with Haitian crisis and trying to bring some resolution. So CARICOM heads, including Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry, with international partners that included Canada, France, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the United Nations. We had a coordination meeting on the situation in the context of the Security Council Resolution 2699, which is supporting what they call a multinational security support system for Haiti. As you're aware, Haiti is a sister nation of the Commonwealth, of our community. And so it was fitting for us to pay the kind of attention to their challenges that we did. We have a group of eminent persons that has been coordinating and facilitating talks between all the contending parties in Haiti and trying to seek a path to normalization. That eminent group of persons include three former prime ministers, Prime Minister Kenny Anthony, who chairs that eminent group, Prime Minister Perry Christie of the Bahamas, and Prime Minister Bruce Golding of Jamaica. We had the good fortune of having Prime Minister Kenny Anthony present, update heads, and we had a frank and in-depth discussion on the situation in Haiti. And as a result of what was reported to us, we are deeply concerned over the continued deterioration of the security, humanitarian, and political situation in Haiti. And more importantly, we are more concerned about the continued delay in overcoming the political stalemate which have blocked the possibility of free and fair elections. And say delay because we've been at this now almost years. I think even prior to the assassination of President Musi, the CARICOM community has been at this attempting to bring normalcy to Haiti. And I think it's important to note that in our deliberations, particularly with Prime Minister Ariel Henry, a number of major steps and concessions were made to move the political process forward, including, which we think is a significant step forward, holding of general elections to restore constitutional government and authority no later than the 31st of August 2025. We think that was a significant step in the right direction.
A trilateral meeting between Guyana as the chair of CARICOM, Brazil and Suriname occurred, and the three countries agreed to deepen discussions on cooperation in a variety of areas, including security, to ensure that Latin America and the Caribbean remain a zone of peace and cooperation for sustainable development.
Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong till our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for CARICOM. Hele, hele, bravo. Oh, will you sing CARICOM? Leve, leve, wow. Not will you drum CARICOM? Slavo, yes, slavo, avo. Oh, will you sing CARICOM? Leve, leve, wow. Raise your voice.